Good afternoon. This is Gregory Morgan, and you're watching Love Talk. It looks like we got a call coming in already, so I'm going to go ahead and take that.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
I have a question. I'm 26.
Yes?
And I'm dating a guy who is 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really in love with him, but my concern is that he's 15 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if it's going to be a problem later on. It's
kind of the pushing the limit of what I would consider to be comfortable in the age difference. Yes?
Yes.
So you might be a mature 26-year-old, and he might be a very young 40-year-old.
Yeah, he's very young,
and so that could
healthy.
That could work out.
Yeah.
That could work, you know? Because maybe mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, you might be in your 30s, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You might be more mature because women mature more quickly than men in those arenas. Okay? Today, a 40-year-old man is like a 30-year-old used to be. I was reading in a magazine the other day. They said that, 50 is the new 30, you know? I like that because I'm 55. He could be 40 years old and be very young in spirit and maybe physically very together and in good shape. Is that the case?
He is, yeah. But my concern is if I want to have a baby and, my baby would not have a young daddy.
Well, yeah, okay. So,
love him so much. He's
is that
really
a concern
caring,
for him?
He's a very respectable person. He loves me. It's been 2 years that I know him, and he bought the house under my name. So, and he's really committed. So that's
Sounds
why
like it.
I don't know.
You bought a house in your name? I think that's about as committed as you get without a ring. I mean, some girls would be happy with a ring. Yeah. You got a house already.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think he likes you.
He likes me a lot.
Yeah.
But my only concern is if I want to have a baby. So is it okay?
Well, I wouldn't be concerned about it myself. Okay, there's people. Robert De Niro's wife just had a couple of years ago had babies at 45. Okay, and I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be in his 60s. Okay, now that's maybe an exception to the rule. Okay, but what I'm pointing at is that if a person takes care of themselves today, it's entirely likely that they'll live to be into their 90s or 100.
That's true.
I'm 55 and I feel like better than I've felt in a long time. I certainly plan on living another 50 years.
Of course, yeah. You will. I'm sure I will.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. And my wife is 45, and I tell you, she's looking better every day to me. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
I really wouldn't worry about it. I mean, if he seemed like the kind of guy that likes to sit around on the couch and not go out and do stuff, and you think that by the time the kid's 10 years old, he's going to be a couch potato and not want to go throw the ball with the kid.
No, actually, he's not like that.
I don't think it sounds like it. It sounds like he's a go-getter.
Yeah, he's very active. He's working and he's go to gym every day. But but if I want to have a baby, by the time my baby is 20, he's going to be 60.
I tell you, 60 is not bad.
Okay.
I'm saying this from the point of view of a 55-year-old, okay?
Okay. That's good to hear that.
I'm 55, and I tell you, I feel great. I get up 3 or 4 times, sometimes 4 times a week at 5:30 in the morning. I go to the gym.
Wow.
I work 16 hours a day. I sleep no more than 5 or 5.5 hours. Sleeping 6 hours is sleeping in for me. My wife and I usually work on the weekends because we have a lot to do and we like our work. And we go on vacations and stuff, and we don't have kids, but if we did, I'd go play with them.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
We do this instead. We have a full-time career all the time, and that's what we love to do. And so out of fairness, we haven't had to the kids, we haven't had kids. 60 years old is nothing. I don't think 60, it used to be, right?
Yeah.
It used to be if you were alive at 60, you were lucky.
Yeah,
right?
But because, my parents kind of concerned too. They really love him, but at the same time, my mom is really worried about, the age difference.
Okay, but have you ever watched our show before?
Yeah.
You've probably heard me say 100 times for the mothers to stay out of their children's marriage.
Yeah.
It's not her marriage, it's yours.
Yes.
Right?
It is, yeah.
She had her marriage.
Yes.
She had her kids, and she got her job done, and she needs to go on and have her life and let you have yours.
Okay.
Okay? She needs to stay out of your marriage unless you specifically ask for her advice.
Okay.
And then she should give it sparingly.
Yeah.
Okay? That's my advice to your mother, and my advice to you as well. You know, live your own life.
Okay, sure.
Okay? Because let me tell you something. There is an entirely different type of human being living on this planet today, and you're one of them. You don't realize how different you are physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally from any other type of human being that's ever lived on this planet. You don't even know what's possible for you yet. And when I tell you that you will probably live to be 100 years old, I'm not kidding. It's probable. It's likely.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? It's likely that your kids will be 50-year-olds coming to visit you. Okay?
That's nice.
Check that out. Think about it. You know, because it gives you a way to live your life thinking, you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you think about, wow, when I'm 80, you know, and he's 95, and our kids are in their 50s or 60s and they come to visit us, won't that be cool? We'll have like all these kids and grandkids and great-grandkids.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That's a future worth living for, isn't it? Isn't that great?
Yes.
That's a future worth living for, and I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be saying this in terms of this particular fellow if you hadn't told me a few specific things about him, and that is that he keeps himself in shape. I'm going to guess that if he's 40 and attractive to a 26-year-old, he's probably a good-looking guy, in good shape.
Yeah.
He probably lives a clean life.
Yeah, he is.
A healthy life. He's probably not into drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and all that stuff, so he's probably going to live a long time. You know, he's probably going to live a long time and have a healthy life and have a lot to give in terms of wisdom too. You know.
Yeah, you're right.
You know.
I'm so happy that I called you. Thank you so much.
Follow your heart. Make your own heart decisions.
Well, I think he's going to propose next week. So.
I think he already did. He bought you a house. What do you call that?
I know.
If he doesn't, you should ask for his keys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Well, that's inspiring. That's inspiring. I was talking earlier about the 12 stages of romantic relationship, and you know, it's funny. They're not a rigid stage. It's not like you have to do them in a certain sense, and sometimes people skip ahead a few stages. In this case, I would say that's kind of happened, okay? In the 12 stages of romantic relationship, we talk about flirtation, then we talk about dating, which is dating's where you're checking each other out. You're being on your best behavior. You're finding out if you enjoy each other's company. You're spending some time together because people can only put their best foot forward for a little while. You know, whatever's sort of the dark side or the unconscious side of them will eventually show up. And so that's why you date somebody for 2 or 3 months. And then there's a stage that I call courtship, in which you've taken it beyond just dating and you've actually said, I only want to be with you. So it's an exclusive relationship in which you're not having a relationship with any other outside people romantically, and you're spending more time together and you're actually planning something for the future. You're talking about the future. I call that courtship. Now there's another call coming in, so I'll tell you about these stages as the show goes on, but I'll take this call. Good afternoon, this is Gregory, and you're on Love Talk.
Hi, Gregory. How are you?
Very good.
I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
Do you necessarily believe when somebody finishes one relationship and jumps to another one, you necessarily become a rebound on that relationship, or it's not necessary?
It's not that it's not necessary, it's just that it's highly likely. It's very likely. Statistically, if I had to bet, it's probably a rebound, more than likely.
Okay, because I am in a relationship like that, and then I know the person I try to help.
Right.
Go through a separation with his wife, and then
you are the anchor point, and I don't mean. Go ahead. Tell me what you were going to say. I don't mean to jump.
And feeling-wise, it's like mostly from him than me. But I always try to protect myself because I'm always afraid to be hurt and to be a rebound on somebody. So as much as I try to help this person, automatically I became the person that he depended on me, and he has a lot of feelings towards me. So my question is, maybe he doesn't know if that feelings is love or not, because maybe, but the way the situation is, to me, he finished the business with the previous wife, with the ex-wife, whatever. But the thing is, I have a hard time to believe if that's a rebound or that's a really connection, or because the fact that I was helped that person a lot, it's creating this emotional, or it's true. I just have a hard time to trust it.
What are you calling help that person a lot? And I want to ask you another specific question. Was he married and when you were in a relationship with him?
He is one of my colleagues. We worked together. Was actually going through the separation that when I started helping him, and then I realized
wait. I'm real curious about this helping word. What do you mean helping?
He was kind of very confused about finishing the relationship or not, and I was not the only one. He asked a lot of help at work because we kind of seen and witnessed a couple of behaviors of his ex-wife. So he talked about it a lot, and I was the one actually who made him listen to a couple of shows and pass some CDs and try to help him and make sure if this is really what he wants to do.
Okay.
And I was the one that I was always talking to him and supporting him. That's what I mean by help.
Okay, but now, did you get in a romantic relationship as a result of that?
You mean for me or for him?
Well, did that turn into a romantic relationship? Hand-holding, touching, whispering?
Yes, it did.
Okay, great. Is he still married?
Yes, he is.
So, you are having a romantic relationship with a married man.
Which I have, from the beginning, this guilt inside of me.
Well, that would be appropriate.
Yes.
That's an appropriate feeling because that's the feeling that comes along with a sense of natural, you're out of alignment with your own values. Do you understand?
Exactly.
When you get out of when you're in alignment with your own values, you never feel guilt. You can do whatever you want, and if your values are true, and by true values, I mean they are commonly held values. That doesn't mean you got to value the same thing everybody else does either. I'm not talking about what's right or what's wrong here even. I'm talking about, do you value loyalty? Do you value never giving up? Do you value giving your best? Do you value telling the truth no matter what? Do you value never doing something that you should have to hide or feel ashamed of? If you value those things and your actions aren't in line with them, you will feel shame. You'll feel guilt.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. But
that's the uncomfortable feeling that is a natural, and thank God you have that, right? It's a natural feeling because it's trying to tell you to get back true to yourself so that you can be in balance. You're out of balance, you feel uncomfortable. You get back in balance, you feel just fine.
Exactly. But the problem is that was not the intention from the beginning. And it's just happened, and I feel not right about it because it's like you said it very well. I feel like I'm out of line of my value, and that's not exactly what I wanted it.
Right.
And I think because I have this guilt and this doubt, I feel like I'm hurting him because he kind of counted on me and felt a big support from me, and I'm backing it up right now. And again, I feel guilty and bad about it. And my question is, I think that what should I do? Because the fact that we work together, it kind of make it harder, but I just want to finish it and switch it back to where it was before, but it's not always easy.
It's a lot easier than what's coming next. There's several dynamics that are going on, okay? And so let me explain. When people are in a codependent relationship, and I will willing to bet you $100 that's what was going on with him and his ex-wife, okay? And still is, by the way. A codependent relationship where you hold somebody else responsible for your happiness, and then when they can't live up to the deal, they're wrong, and you make them wrong, and there's all that stuff, okay?
Yeah.
When somebody can't get out of a codependent relationship, one of the things they do is called triangulation. And that is, you got two people, and they're out of balance with each other, and usually one of them is 100%, and the other one's a 0. One of them is like the boss, and the other one's like the slave, okay?
Exactly.
Right? So when it's usually the slave, but sometimes it's the boss, but usually it's the slave that will then create an anchor point outside of the relationship. They'll hook onto something like an anchor to pull themselves up out of the relationship. Do you see that? To give themselves some power, some dignity, some self-respect, all based on somebody else, right? So they will project their love, their affection, their sense of well-being, and their attachment onto an outside point so as to pull themselves up out of that relationship and kick the other one off. Now guess what happens to the person that they anchored onto? What do you think happens next?
That person is going to get hurt?
They get discarded like a pair of yesterday's socks.
Exactly.
Okay, when you use a ladder to climb up to a higher point, do you bring the ladder with you?
Exactly. No, you
right? No, you don't.
You don't.
No. Once you're done using it for what it was good for, then you're done with it.
So you mean I am this ladder in between?
Well, he doesn't know that, see? Right? He doesn't know that yet because you just he's just still climbing on you, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Until a judge stamps some divorce papers, whether it's 6 months from now or 6 weeks from now or a year from now, depending on the state that you live in, right? But when that judge stamps those papers saying finalized, then you're divorced. Until then, you're married.
Yes.
You could have, I'm in the process of a divorce, I'm in the process, I'm separated, you're still married. You're married, you're married, you're married, you're married, you're married until you're not.
Exactly.
Okay? And he's married.
I took responsibility for my actions and what I did wasn't right, but now...
I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm just telling you what situation you got yourself into.
No, I know exactly what you're doing. But what should I do from now on to keep it friendly and pleasant at work and keep on going with my principle and my value and forget about what happened?
Well, you're going to have a talk that is going to, first of all, you should probably get some help yourself in really clearing up for yourself, because we're not going to clear that up in just a short conversation on the phone, okay? But you should get some help either with a therapist or a coach that will actually have you get to the source of why you attracted that situation into your life in the first place. Why would you, there's a lack of boundaries that you would even allow that to happen, okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a bad person. It just means, like, you know what I mean? It's just like sometimes when you're walking along, the quicksand looks just like the regular ground you're walking on. And you don't know until you're knee deep in it that, oops.
Well,
so you need to be able to recognize quicksand so you don't step in it next time.
About that issue, I already actually spoke to Azita in one of your shows, that I know that I have this problem because I have one unfinished business, which thanks to Azita, I find out what it is. Then I always attract the wrong person, and I'm working on it. And that thing just made me realize that there is also a problem, an issue that I need to take care of.
There's something, and you will keep doing this. You know, my experience with working with clients shows me that it's the darndest thing. People will repeat the same harmful behavior again and again and again. It's like they don't learn their lesson until something really, really harsh happens usually, and then they snap out of it because they go, I'm never doing that again. And then they take whatever action is necessary to make sure that never happens again. You haven't suffered enough yet to do that, make that decision. When you have suffered enough, and you go, okay, this hurts, and I'm never going to do that again, then you will never do it again.
So my question is, after having a talk, what can I do to make it, I mean, you think by talking and take responsibility for what I did, it's going to resolve the problem, then we can go on and then work together and be pleasant?
Well, you're going to have to set a boundary that's now behind yourself that you never should have crossed. So you're going to have to back up, right?
Okay.
Clean yourself up. Say, I made a mistake. I went someplace I shouldn't have gone. I'm not doing it anymore. You can count on that, so don't try me, okay?
Okay.
And from now on, it's going to be like this and only like this. And I do that out of respect for myself first, out of my own self-respect. And I also do it out of respect for you and out of respect for the vows that you gave that woman that you are still married to. Whether you still believe in those vows or not, I'm respecting that.
Okay.
Okay? You're married. And I don't go out with married men.
I'm going to have this conversation with him.
Yeah, I don't go out with married men. I don't kiss married men. I don't hold hands with married men. I don't sleep with married men. I don't go to dinner with married men. I may work around married men, and I'll be polite and civil and professional, and that's it. And I apologize for any pain that this may cause you. This is my boundary. Do you understand?
And do you think, because we do talk about other conversation at work about business or whatever, do you think we can be friends and then continue business-wise at work once we done with it?
I'm going to ask you a more personal question now. Okay? You don't have to answer.
No problem.
Okay? Have you been sexual with him?
Yes, unfortunately.
Then the answer is no. I'm going to say no. You can't be friends with somebody you've been sexual with. And there's a whole lot of primal, primitive reasons why that's so, okay?
Okay.
It would take a very, very powerful intellect to override the primal connection that you guys have. I don't believe that you have that capacity, or he does either, or you wouldn't have never even gone there. If
No,
you
I
had
don't.
that, if you had that capacity to have sex with somebody and then hang out with them as their friend, because your friend is somebody who you tell all your secrets to, who never judges you. A friend is a platonic relationship.
Okay.
They're not trying to get into your pants. Your friends are your friends. You trust them with everything. You can tell them anything, any time of the day or night, and never have it mean something else or have them try to make it be inappropriate. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And once you have been sexual with somebody, once there's like the exchange of bodily fluids, that's all over. There's another kind of connection that's happening on an erotic level, whether you ever see them again or not. That will always be there.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So don't pretend you can go around and be his friend. You can't. It's a lie. It's an inauthentic relationship to reality.
It's true.
Right? And that's what got you here in the first place, is an inauthentic relationship to reality. The reality is he's a married man and you don't believe in sleeping with married men, but you had an inauthentic relationship to that.
Yes,
You
I
thought,
did.
well, maybe I could, and it would
Exactly.
be all right. But now you're seeing that, well, okay, now you're coming back to your senses. You're realizing that that's not cool. That's not good with me. I'm ashamed of it in the eyes of people who know me. I don't want anyone to know about it.
Exactly.
Right? I certainly don't want anyone to know about it at work. I wouldn't want his wife to know about it. There's probably a lot of people you wouldn't want to know that, right?
Exactly.
So it impinges your ability to hold your head up high with yourself.
Exactly.
With yourself
exactly.
first.
That had to do a lot myself, like you said.
Don't do that to yourself. Have
My
pride in
values
yourself.
and principle, and
Yeah.
then I felt bad about it, but I'm glad at least I learned something.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm glad at least I felt guilty about it, and it made me a normal person, and I'm never going to happen.
It's normal to feel out of balance when you are out of balance. Thank God you have that, right? Otherwise, you just fall over into some kind of addictive trip, you know? So you had the good sense and the good upbringing to bring yourself back to, back to balance and say, okay, you made this call and you called the right person. Because I tell you, there's other people on TV that would tell you, oh, it's okay, and they'll try to coach you in how to make that relationship work, which will never work.
Exactly.
Please do not have any illusion that somebody who uses you for an anchor to get out of an addictive relationship is ever going to stay with you. They will not. The chances of that happening are so remote that I wouldn't bet a dime on it,
Exactly.
If I was betting. I would bet $1,000 on that you would be discarded at some point. That I would win that bet.
I will be that ladder, if I understand very well. Usually that's what happens.
Yeah. You have been that ladder. You helped him pull himself up out of a relationship, but now it's time for him to stand on his own feet. He may go back to her, and that could always happen, by the way.
Okay.
And if he's got kids with her, it's likely to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, it's likely.
Yeah.
All right, so it's as likely, it's more likely to happen than that he would stay with the person that he used as an anchor. You got that?
Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Have a good
All
evening.
right.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Good afternoon. This is Gregory.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, good. I have a question regarding a relationship that I started about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I met someone, and we were friends for a couple of months. We study the same thing, and we had a lot in common. He's a year and a half younger than me.
Can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 26, and
He's about 25, 24 and a half, something like that?
Yeah.
All right.
We had a good relationship as friends. We had fun together when we went out, and we used to hang out, with our other friends. After a couple of months, he started asking me to go out with him, and we had dinner, we went to the movies, and I kind of found myself more attracted to him.
Yeah.
So it was not clear if he was really asking me out or if it was just a friendship. So I kind of felt uncomfortable with that. I went and I asked him. I was like, "Are we dating or are we friends?" And he never gave me a clear answer, but he told me that he wants to get to know me better, and he really has enjoyed the time that we spent together, and you know, he would look forward to something long term. You know, I this went on for another couple of times that we went out, and I kind of found myself, it was different approach than we had before. It wasn't like when we were friends, but it wasn't quite serious dating either. And that's what I was looking for. I wanted to date someone seriously, especially that I had started to have feelings for him.
Right.
So
did you let him know that?
Excuse me?
Did you let him know that?
I did let him know a couple of times, and you know, it started to hurt me because I felt like he would call me on his time, like when he had time, and you know, I would want someone who would call me regularly, you know, plan things regularly, and you know, whenever we went out, we had fun. You know, we did all the things that we both enjoyed, and we both had a good time. It's just that it would be more on his time.
Yes.
If he had time, or when we would go out, hang out, and we would say goodbye at the end of the night. I felt like I was the one who would miss him more.
You told him not to call you. He still keeps calling you anyhow. You keep responding to his calls even though you told him you wouldn't. Now you've seen somebody else that you like, and you told him that you found somebody else that you liked, and so he's probably escalated in his efforts to try to get you to be interested in him. You don't think that you can trust him with the relationship right now, that he's not ready, and that tends to be my thinking too. So what is the deal now?
When I told him, he saw me with that person, when he saw me actually dating that person, he promised that he will not call me. He said that he will give me 4 months, that, you know, to see how it works, and he said that he will call me back in 4 months. And he said that, you know, he said that he can't do anything for us to be together at that time, that he will call me. And during this time, he hasn't called me. But, you know, he saw one of my friends recently, and he had told her that, you know, that it's very hard for him to kind of stay away, and that he doesn't want to call me because he knows that if he calls me, that, you know, he would have no chance.
But you got to get to your question here pretty quick, okay?
My question is, he's gonna call me in a month and a half. Is it even worth giving him another try? Or
why don't you cross that bridge when you get to it? You don't know. There's no way for me to answer that question. There's no way for me to answer that question because maybe in another month and a half you're going to be totally in love with the guy that you're going out with, or not. You know, there's so many factors that are there. It sounds like he's sincere, you know, but sincerity is not the same thing as being authentically ready to have a long-term relationship, is it?
No.
He's showing a certain amount of devotion, but devotion isn't enough either, you know?
What do I say?
Devotion isn't enough. What it takes is commitment, and commitment shows up in consistency, persistency, never giving up no matter what. That's what commitment means, right? Communication.
In the past 6 months, I did tell him to give me 4 months, and you know, even though he's been asking and telling my friends how he feels, he hasn't called me. Okay, well then he's doing what you ask him to do. He's doing what you ask him to do, and you ought to do what you said you're going to do, which is not be in communication with him. Okay? Yeah. Because right now, you're having you said you're having a relationship with another guy. Are you going out with another guy? Yeah, but that's not going to work out. So, I mean, I feel like until the time that I settle this, that I'm not going to be able to really move on, because he's intentionally keeping himself in your consciousness all the time, right, by calling you, text messaging you, emailing you, telling your friends to tell you that he asked about you. He's just going to keep buzzing around your hive, trying to keep you interested in him. He hasn't contacted me in any form for the past. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, I think it's good. Yeah.
And
It's just kept that promise.
but you're obviously still interested in him.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm interested in him, but I don't know if I can ever. I don't know if what he says is persistent, he's being persistent.
Well, here's what I recommend, and I'm sure my wife would recommend the same thing. Date at least 3 or 4 guys, okay?
I have done that.
Yeah, well, keep doing it. Give yourself the chance to meet and greet and get to know yourself. And how we get to know ourselves is not by sitting in a cave in contemplation. How we get to know ourselves is watching how we interact with people, how we play. And when I say play, I mean the innocent exchange of spontaneous energy. So when you're dating with somebody, you're sort of playing, you're joking, you're jousting, you're teasing, you're playing. It's part of finding out who you are, finding out what your limits are, testing the other person, pushing them a little bit and seeing, what makes them laugh, what makes them tick, right? And in doing that, we hone our own social skills, for one thing, our ability to be with different people in different situations and interact, and we get self-confidence from that because we find out that, oh, I can deal with anybody, anytime, in any situation, and I'll be all right. So that gives you a certain kind of self-confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes,
right?
You're absolutely right.
So it's a little early in your life, as far as I'm concerned, to beginning to get focused in on one guy, right? And here's why I'm saying date at least 3 guys. And I'll tell you why I say this. Dating one guy is too much like marriage, so when he doesn't call you, you get all messed up about it. And yet, there's no ring, there's no wedding date, there's no nothing, right? It's just some guy you're seeing and he doesn't call and you get just totally messed up. So when you date one guy, you're setting yourself up for that. Because guys your age, they don't call sometimes for weeks. Okay? That's just how it is. You date 2 guys, you're always going to have one that you like better. So the second guy, he never gets a chance, right? Mm-hmm. You're just using him while the other guy is really the one you want. If you date 3 guys, then if somebody's always going to call you out of those 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to have somebody to go see. It's not a focused like marriage situation. It's not an either or situation. And when you're dating like at least 3 guys, then it really starts to get more casual. Then it really is just about having fun, and it keeps the innocence about it, not the obsession that starts happening. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to say stick to your guns about the dating, okay? That would be my counseling on that. Let him work for it, so to speak. Let him really see what he values. Listen, if he goes away, then he was going to go away anyhow. I promise.
Yeah, but
okay?
he hasn't gone away. He saw me dating. He really.
So?
I mean, I really put myself out there so he can see that I am dating.
So don't do things like where you play him or you try to make him jealous or any of that. I would avoid places where you think that he might be. Just avoid those places. Don't go where you know he's going to be.
Yeah, and I haven't done that for the past 3 months.
Just go someplace else and do your dating thing, okay?
I have done that for the past couple of months, and all
right, we'll do it some more. There's a lot of people online right now that have questions too, and we've spent some time here. You got to tell me your story, and you asked me a question, and I gave you an answer. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You asked me what you should do, and I actually answered your question.
You did.
I did. I told you keep dating and stay out of communication with him, and don't give in. And if he's really serious, he'll stick around, and if he's not, he'll go away, and good riddance. All right? Would you rather him go away now while you're dating 2 or 3 guys? Or would you rather him go away after you've been dating him for a year or 2 and then he goes away anyhow?
But how long am I going to keep doing this to him? How long am I going to...
Doing it to him? You're not worried about him. You're worried about you. How long are you going to do it to you? That's what you're worried about.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I guess that's... Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're the one that's like having some doubt and question.
Yeah. Look, either way, how long
do it until it's no longer appropriate. I mean, listen to your heart. I'm telling you, just as my advice, if you give in to him now, then you become someone who sells out your innermost belief because you don't believe he's ready, do you?
I didn't believe he's ready 4 months ago, no.
Do you believe he's ready now?
No, I don't know how soon.
Well, yes or no? If you had to bet the future, the next 5 years of your life on it, what would you bet?
Based on the criteria that you give for someone to be ready, no.
He's not ready. You know it and I know it.
Yeah.
And the people listening to this show, they don't have to be relationship experts to figure it out either. He's not ready and you know it. So if you trade your freedom and your well-being and you give your love to somebody who's not ready, well, then you deserve to be hurt. Okay? And you will be. I promise you. Okay?
You're right.
And it's only in him having to fight hard enough that he will get ready. Okay? You know all those stories and legends about men having to slay dragons and climb castle walls and fight battles and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Those are symbolic language about exactly what you're living in right now. Okay? He needs to become, he's a page. You know, the page is the one that hands the knight his sword and helps him back on his horse and all that kind of stuff. The knight had a page, right? A young knight who wasn't old enough or big enough to be a knight yet. And how you become a knight is you just keep fighting those battles until you actually take on the horse yourself, and then you can go on your own crusades. And how a knight becomes a king is by winning a few battles. Okay? Winning some battles and showing some leadership and standing up to hardship. So if you take away his hardship, if you take away his struggle, if you take away his battle and make it easy for himself at your expense, then he won't grow to become the knight or the king that he's supposed to be. I'm speaking in symbolic language, but I think you understand what I'm saying, right?
No, I do understand.
Yeah, and then you will have lowered your own standards. See, he can't quite get up to where you're at right now, so you're going to lower yourself.
No, I haven't been able to do that yet.
Yeah, you stay where you're at and let him climb up there.
All right.
All right? Let him earn the right to be with you.
Okay.
And you be a stand for yourself. A woman has to love herself more than she loves any man. Otherwise, she's not a trustable woman.
No, I have told him that too. I told
You
him
just
that,
keep
you know,
loving yourself more. I know that you're uncomfortable and that you want to see him, and he's really beating down the door and all that stuff, or at least emotionally. But you're the one that has to go through your own process as well. You have to find out what you're worth. All right?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Gregory. Thanks for holding so long. You're on Love Talk.
Hi. Two questions, please.
Yes.
One question is, what does sex really play in a relationship from a man's perspective and a woman's perspective? Because it is always as if a woman feels that in a way that it's not as important, and a man feels that's very significant. Let's assume that a man and a woman really truly love each other.
Yes.
And also, since you're familiar with the Persian culture, it's a cultural barrier there when Iranian men may not feel, may have trouble with a woman that will sleep with them, although it's changed a bit.
You said something about in the Iranian culture, men may not, what, with a woman that will sleep with them?
In Iranian culture, men may have trouble with a woman who does sleep with them, even though they truly love that woman.
With a woman who does not sleep with him?
They think that a good woman should not sleep with them, even though they ask for it.
I see.
They may psychologically or unconsciously have trouble with a woman who does sleep with them.
Well, you know why that is? And it's not just Iranian culture, by the way. I mean, it may be more pronounced in the Iranian culture, but when a man loves a woman, then what is in the background, like a primal urge, is to have children with her to make her pregnant. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So even though it may not be in his conscious mind, subconsciously, that's one of the things that is driving him, right?
Okay. Okay.
Now we have DNA testing and all kinds of stuff, but let's put that aside for the moment. Up until then, the only way a man could know that a child was his was because the woman said so.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Pretty much. I mean, it might look like him or something like that, but he could never know for certain that it was his child unless the woman said it is.
That's right.
Right? Think about that for a second. If you're a man and and this has been going on for millions and millions and millions and millions of years, right? It's been going on for a very, very long time.
Yes.
The only way men would know that those kids were them, that their genetic line was getting which is an access to immortality. On a spiritual level, it's how we attain immortality, by having our gene pool promoted, okay? And on a biological basis as well. But spiritually, we feel that a part of us keeps living on through our children. Socially, we want to know for certain that that's our child. And how we know that is by knowing that the woman is not somebody that sleeps around with a lot of guys, right?
Correct. That's right.
Right? So if you sleep with the guy, he thinks, well, she'll sleep with anybody if she'll sleep with me, right?
Right. Okay, so
you got that?
Make sure
if she'll sleep with me, she'll sleep with anybody.
Is that what?
Right. So she needs to assure. Yeah. So there's this whole thing about like he has to feel like it was difficult to get with her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like she didn't just give it to anyone.
Okay.
I had to earn this. You know?
Okay, makes sense.
By showing some commitment, by showing that I'm serious, that I'm going to stick around, that I want to be her man, that I want to be with her forever. Then she gave me that access to intimacy with her, right?
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
To the next question.
That means any kids come out of this, they're mine.
Pardon me, say that again.
He says that. Then he says to himself, that means if there's any kids that come out of this, they're mine, right?
Well, the other, which still relates to this, is about nowadays in 20th century.
Yeah.
They say marriage is just a piece of paper. The real thing is the love. I personally may be old-fashioned, but I don't believe that. I think it still means quite a bit. And how do you? I mean, first of all, for myself, psychologically, I was very much enjoying what you said about all those stories about a man trying to all those stories, old stories.
The legends of them climbing the castle walls and fighting off the dragon. Yeah, right.
That you want to earn, just like a degree, just like anything good, just like giving birth to a child. You go through so much, and you gain this beautiful thing. Just like giving birth as a mother, I could say that.
It is that highly stressful situations change us as human beings.
Correct.
Okay. Like when you've been childbirth, you mentioned, but also fighting a battle or winning something together, right? So men are very, very competitive because how they have been defined for centuries has been by the animals they could kill or how well they did on the battlefield, right?
Right.
How well they could bring home food for the tribe or the family or the wife, right? That was their value. That was their pride. That was their sense of self, and that's how they won respect and status, not only from their wife, but from the other tribesmen, the other hunters and warriors. And that's how they stood up in the tribe or stood out as being a leader because they had those particular qualities. So it was only through putting themselves through very stressful situations that they were if you just hung around all the time and wrote poetry and painted pictures and did those kinds of things, nobody would necessarily go, wow, Right?
So, this question is, I'm dealing with a person, which I do believe with my gut feeling that it's a true love for both of us.
Okay, good for you.
However, this person, he's in a relationship, and so we were high school sweethearts, and we just our lives just crossed again. And I'm not in any relationship, but he is in a relationship that he's committed to. Yet we realize that this love is just very strong and is very real, and it has lasted for many years. So basically, I'm thinking about it's just a lot of emotional conflict here for me and for him as well.
Yeah, I understand.
Because you want the other person to be a good person, be nice, and be a gentleman. At the same time, we both have decided that we can't live without one another.
Well, it's not your decision to make right now.
Right. So I'm basically
well, wait, don't just step over that.
I've been asked.
You said right, like you said right, like you agreed, but I don't think you did agree.
I believe that his love is true. You talked about consistency, so basically.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, let me ask you. Let me just ask you a couple questions, okay? He's married, right?
No.
He's in a relationship.
Yes.
But he's not married.
Right.
How long has he been in that relationship?
Long time.
A definite lack of commitment, okay?
To the other person.
Well, him. He's what he is showing through his actions. His life itself is a statement. Do you believe that everything that you say and do, including the clothes you wear and how you fix your hair, is some kind of a communication?
Yes.
Right? We're communicating all the time, whether we open our mouths or not. So our actions are communications, right? And his communication is, I'm willing to stay with the woman for as long as she'll stay with me, use her, live with her like a wife, but I'm not willing to actually take her on as a wife and be committed and say the words that say, I will stay with you for the rest of my life. He's not willing to do that.
Okay.
Okay? So he has found himself a woman that'll put up with that for a long time, as you said. All right? Now, outside of that relationship, he's found an old high school sweetheart, and he's fallen in love again.
Yes.
Sort of on the side or outside of that. So my guess is he's probably lying to her right now.
Yes, because he doesn't know how to deal with it right now.
And he's probably, so do you think that you would really stand a chance of having a lifetime relationship with somebody who's already cheating on somebody that they never even made a commitment to and have been using for years? Think about that, because I don't think that that is a marriageable man. I have very precise distinctions that we talk about in the 12 stages of romantic relationship, and Azita talks about them in her books, Girl Talk also. Ways of knowing whether a man is a marriageable man, eligible for marriage. And they just gave me the 5-minute signals. I would be happy to go into those for you, but
let me just
the ability to be committed then.
I didn't want to give all of the details in the interest of time for you.
Yeah.
But he has been married for 20 years, and then he went through divorce, and this is a couple of years relationship in the middle, which has been with this person.
Right.
So this is the background. So
it's kind of like the other caller where I said that once he gets up out of that relationship, he will discard. People always discard the anchor.
Okay.
She was his anchor that got him out of his 20-year relationship. Now she'll be discarded.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That so in terms of commitment, he has been in his marriage for a long time, and he doesn't have a bad relationship with the ex, and it was not ugly and bitter or anything.
Right.
This relationship is a comfort relationship, and it was loveless in a way, to my understanding. And I happen to know his family and background to a point that he's not known for being somebody, he's just a decent person.
I'm sure he is. Here's the thing. So the quick answer is, do not have sex with a man who's in a relationship and sleeping with somebody else. Otherwise, you will have compromised yourself beyond repair.
Exactly. I agree.
Do not do that. Okay? Secondly, I would refuse to have any relationship with somebody who is in a relationship with somebody else, period. I would set my boundaries, especially as a woman, and say, look, I'm sorry, I have feelings for you, I can't see you because I have feelings for you, and it's very uncomfortable for me. When you are available, and by available I mean not in any relationship at all, being in your own apartment or house, living on your own, no financial mixings with the other person or anything else. If I'm available, come and see me. I'd love to see you. But do not mix in somebody else's relationship when they're still in their relationship, because you will never get to be alone with him. You'll be with him and her, whether she's there or not. You got that?
I understand.
It's a triangular relationship. You'll never get to be alone, just you and him, if you start off being with him and somebody else, because he will leave that relationship in a way that will be damaging to someone else, and then he'll go around feeling guilty about it and trying to make it up to her and doing all this other craziness instead of him.
I want it to be right, like you're saying. I want it to be
clean.
For both of us to do the right thing. If what he's asking me is to what you call be patient about it. And
well, are you willing to do that?
I have conflicting feelings. I have a trouble with this. I don't know what to do.
My advice to you is to not.
The only man that I've really truly loved.
I got it.
On the other hand, I have big trouble with it. I honestly have trouble with it. I don't know what is the right thing to do.
Well, the right thing to do is just like you would have someone do with you. If the tables were turned and you were that woman and he met a woman that he is now telling her that he's in love with her, how would you want to be treated? Would you want him to sneak around and see her? Or would you want him to come to you like a man and say, look, the relationship's over. I've met somebody that I really care about. I'm sorry if this hurts you. If there's anything I can do to help you get set up with a new life or anything like that, let me know. I'm going to do whatever I can to take care of you and to do this with as much respect and dignity as possible. I ask that you let me go and that we break this relationship off. And just be a man about it, you know, and have some dignity about it and do it properly and with love and care. There's no nice way to slit Bambi's throat. He's going to kill her in either way you look at it, right? He's going to break her heart.
Exactly.
You know, I think if you're going to break someone's heart, please do it gently, respectfully, and quickly.
Yes.
Right? Just do it quickly and be done with it, but be honorable about it.
He's having a hard time with. He's saying he's confused. He doesn't know how to do it so that she wouldn't be devastated.
Well, there's not any way to do it. That's like saying, how can I cut Bambi's throat without hurting the poor thing, right? You know, you just do it quickly and efficiently and with all the love in your heart.
Yes.
You know, you do it with love and dignity and you do it quickly. But you don't drag it out and kill him day by day a little bit with a fork, you know?
Oh, it's important to me how he treats this other woman. It's very important to me because that's his character.
Yeah.
So I do care about how the other woman feels and how he's treating the situation because that tells me about him.
Okay, I've gone over my time.
Thank you very much.
I hope that I've helped you. You're welcome to call me at embracegrowth.com at that number, the 460 number, and I'll do whatever I can to help you sort this out. I think you need some more coaching, okay?
I appreciate that very much.
You bet. And so I'm going to wrap up the show. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Now, for those of you who are still on the line, I apologize. We just ran out of time again. You can always reach me at Gregory at embracegrowth.com, and there's our website on the screen, and also our office phone number. Thank you. I'll be back here again next week. You've been watching Love Talk. Thank you.
خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان با بیش از 3 دهه تحقیق به روی رابطه، طرز تفکر، احساسات و درک حقیقی صحبت‌های مردان و زنان، سمینارها و کارگاه‌های کثیری را طراحی کرده است. زن دلخواه مردان، سمیناری جذاب و شیرین با مطالبی که هرگز نشنیده اید. آنچه شما در مورد مردان، زنان و رابطه نمی‌دانید. زن دلخواه مردان توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در تورنتو 12 مارچ. بلیط‌های خود را همکنون از اپلیکیشن و یا وبسایت Embrace Growth تهیه کنید و یا با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. تورنتو 15 تا 17 مارچ، اروپا 26 تا 28 آپریل، ایروان ارمنستان 31 اکتبر تا 2 نوامبر، لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 سپتامبر. 310 460 2600. یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. ایروان ارمنستان 15 تا 17 آگوست، تورنتو 20 تا 22 سپتامبر، اروپا 18 تا 20 اکتبر. 310 460 2600. از این پس برنامه دنیای عشق رو از جم USA روزهای جمعه 9 شب، شنبه 11:30 شب، یک شنبه 1:30 ظهر و دوشنبه 8:30 صبح به وقت لس آنجلس دنبال کنید. خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در برنامه دنیای عشق جوابگوی سوالات شما هستند و به مباحث مهمی همچون ازدواج، تربیت فرزندان، افسردگی، طلاق، سکس، همجنسگرایی، خیانت و هزاران موضوع متنوع دیگر می‌پردازند. برای اطلاعات بیشتر از برنامه‌ها، سمینارها و کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید و یا از اپلیکیشن و یا وبسایت Embrace Growth دیدن کنید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth همکنون در اپ استور. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید پروفایل خود را مدیریت و زبان مورد نظر خود را بین فارسی و انگلیسی انتخاب کنید. وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. محصولات از جمله CD، DVD و کتاب‌ها را خریداری و دانلود نمایید و یا برای کارگاه‌ها و سمینارها نام‌نویسی کنید. همچنین شما می توانید به برنامه‌های تلویزیونی و رادیویی دکتر سایان و یا آقای مورگن به صورت رایگان دسترسی داشته باشید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید.